Commence primary ignition.
I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
What a piece of junk.
Enterprise, this is the captain.
I got a bad feeling about this.
It's all part of the plan.
Engage.
Welcome back to Coronacast 2 for 1. I'm your host.
No, I'm kidding. I'm sick. Not sick.
I am your host, Donovan Thompson, with my co-host, who is apparently dying.
Potentially. Daniel Wingfield.
Dustin Hoffman.
In Outbreak.
And Gwyneth Paltrow. So, from Contagion. Basically, Matt Damon. So,
Yeah.
we are here for Corona time, as you can see. And coffee, because I like coffee.
We'll open these in a second. Don't worry.
Don't worry. These will not go undrunken.
No.
Undrunken?
I mean, look at these. These are tiny little baby Coronas.
Speaking of babies, go check out our previous...
Coronitas.
Speaking of babies, go check out our baby cast. We had an episode with Bloodshot. Speaking of which, is now being released on demand because
in 4 days, right?
Pretty much.
Wow.
So 11 days after release. Real quick,
Nuts.
let's just run through everything that's being delayed by this thing. The answer is everything. That's it.
Okay, we're done. Yeah,
that's
wow.
it. I could literally list every movie that hasn't stopped production, but it's all of them.
Basically, the world has stopped, especially the movie world.
Especially the movie world. I feel bad for you mentioned this, right? Like some of our friends out in LA, and
they're all unemployed, and there's no productions going on. So if you're below the line, there's no work.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Uncharted 6-week delay, Mulan's pushback, Shang-Chi's
The Uncharted movie,
yeah.
That's been delayed for the air being too stinky.
It has been, but
something, you know what I mean?
Shang-Chi, th're losing $300,000 a day for not shooting.
You know what I'm curious about in this is. Obviously, we're probably really not impacted now as far as what we can watch because everything we're watching now was produced, at least probably a year ago.
What's going to happen? Yeah,
exactly. What's going to happen in 6 months when is like the programming schedule going to be just dry, just nothing, like reruns for 6 months when we would normally be having.
You mean television?
Content.
Or are you talking about TV
movies too?
Think about this.
There's going to be a big gap in movies.
Yeah, but one thing, even though we have had some record highs in the last couple of years, or say maybe last year in the box office, a big problem they have is that they end up cannibalizing each other. So,
what does
movies do? Especially during the summer box office, you have one after another every week, and they just end up like Disney example. They had, or look at Josh Brolin when Infinity War came out. He had Infinity War. 2 weeks later, he had Deadpool, and then a week later, he had Sicario: Dead the Snowball come out.
Yeah.
So his own actor had a movie come out within 5 weeks, 3 movies within 5 weeks. So it's like they were cannibalizing each other. His own.
Right.
Granted, he got paid, but my point is, it's just that's how it works. And now
it's gonna be
maybe
nuts.
there might be like a little gap in between that. But I was kind of feeling, even though there are some good movies around the corner, there were this year, I was kind of feeling like this year was kind of light anyway for some reason.
We don't have any giant blockbusters that Fast 9.
Yeah,
was like the biggest blockbuster I'm aware of.
And I think
coming out. We got some artsy movies, some new, a new Paul Thomas Anderson movie, a new Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah, we got new Christopher Nolan, we got new David Fincher.
That's true.
But I think the big thing is because we're spoiled with like Infinity War and Endgame,
right.
And then we had Game of Thrones ending last year, we had Star Wars ending last year.
We had a shit ton of blockbusters last year, hit and miss, but a shit ton.
Yeah, we did. So anyway. If you have a question about if there's something canceled or not canceled, the answer is it's fucking canceled.
Yeah.
So we're doing this.
Even if it wasn't canceled, you have to stay home.
Yeah. So. We are currently working from home, but we are still coming up to the office to do this. They say no more than 10 people, and me and Daniel
are 2 people.
We
did the math.
It
checks out.
So look at this. Avatar shut down for shooting. Black Widow is postponed. UK's largest cinema chains are all shut down, and even though there's this big growing concern
chains
of like
closed around us except for one.
Yeah, Warner Brothers, Birds of Prey releasing early, Star Wars released early, Frozen 2 released on Disney Plus early, and now they're saying Onward's going to release in Disney Plus in a couple, or maybe just
a few days. I think
in a few days. It just come out like 2 weeks ago. We just did baby casts on this.
I know
it's wild.
Nuts. It's wild.
I wonder if there's going to be some math done where this would be like, well, this might still be viable for us financially. I know they want to keep the relationships up with theaters, but
the theaters at this, I don't feel like the theaters can complain in this situation though. I feel like
they can't.
And they have to deal with it like anyone else is dealing with, which is just making ends meet. Keeping people paid as much as you can.
Yeah.
Keeping businesses out of colossal debt as much as you can.
Well,
You
there's
know
a
what I mean?
rumor even going on today, like Wonder Woman, will it go digital instead of being released in June?
I saw that
It got immediately squashed
by Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but people are doing the math, and of course they always have been.
And that
but
doesn't even mean it won't happen.
it's true.
It might just mean they're not ready to talk about it, or they
Exactly.
haven't even completely decided how they're going to do it.
Exactly.
I mean, and honestly, I think that's probably more likely. I feel like they probably are heavily considering it, and they may not be like, "Oh, yes, we're doing it," but they are working out an option for doing it. And maybe it's like what we said: pay $50, and you can, get a movie now that would be opening in theaters. Now, will people be willing to do that during this time? That's a bigger question. Is anyone going to be willing to pay $50, $40 for
That's
a
true.
single title during a time when everyone's pretty strapped for cash?
True.
And
I don't know.
you still have Netflix and Hulu. You have full libraries at access. There are things to watch.
Yeah.
You're not at a drought of watchable things or time to watch them.
That's true. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. It's what I think we are all in a kind of a stage of uncertainty right now.
Again, I think I said in the beginning, or at some point, I think on this podcast, Disney would just own the show if they announced
We heard
free Disney Plus through the end of the COVID-19 situation and Black Widow releases day one. They would quadruple their subscriber amount, which seems like a really viable part of market share that could be ascertained during this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are in their homes. If you convert, 75% of America into Disney Plus subscribers, or even, it wouldn't even be that much. If you converted
20%.
10%,
Yeah.
10% would be like 20 million, 27 million.
Right.
Like, I may not do math right. Shut up.
I don't think so.
Don't write in about that, you motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck. I don't give 2 fucks. Okay.
I give 3 fucks, so.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the difference between you and I.
That's true.
It's
Doesn't
a
give
difference
2,
of 3
gives 3.
fucks. A difference of 3 fucks.
It's 5,
between us.
apparently. You don't give 2 and I give 3, it's 5.
Yeah, but I'm giving 0.
That's true.
I'm
it's
not
3.
taking away 2 fucks from them. That would be negative. I'd be like, I'm taking your 2 fucks.
Well, you told them not to give any fucks. So you said, so you're taking away their ability to give fucks.
Right. But it's still a 3 fuck difference.
Okay.
You can write in about this. You can tell us who's wrong.
I don't give 4 fucks about this conversation.
We're getting into some big boy math territory. I think we need a Pythagorean theorem or some shit at this point.
If we go past
to figure
5,
this
I'm out because I can't start doing that kind of high math.
No, I need my graphing calculator before that. The point is, there may not be a way right now to make a lot of cash.
True.
I think there is a lot of lucrative ways to establish a streaming base and flip the market. Like, what if Disney was able to come out of this with 20 million more subscribers than Netflix, instead of Netflix being, so many million ahead of them? There's not a ton of money being exchanged in that point, but over the next 5 years, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know.
I don't know. Would you prefer?
I'm hireable. I've got great ideas.
I think you are in this camp with me, where you don't want the theater experience to die, but
no,
it kind of feels like this right here could definitely be this could be the tipping point that we've been seeing for a long time.
It could. I still feel like the theaters are going to be around. I feel like, especially after this, everyone's going to want to get out of their goddamn house for any reason.
That's true.
They're going to want to go to the movie theater. They're going to want to go to the restaurants. I just feel like the movie theater experience is still a valuable experience in of itself.
Yeah.
Yes, you're watching a movie, but it's everything else that makes that, what it is.
I agree with you. Okay, here, listen to this. What about Apple acquiring Disney? Apparently, 2 days ago, Disney's stock is plummeting.
Right,
because they shut down the park, which are losing $20 million.
We're just
a day
getting
for
ever
that.
closer to that totalitarian future where there is only one single company.
I do not want. I don't know why. I just do not want Apple to own Disney.
It doesn't seem like a good idea.
It has nothing to do with me not wanting a monopoly. I really don't care about that so much. Even though I should, but
it will degrade our experience.
I just think Apple. I don't know. I feel like they just need to do their thing and let Disney do their thing. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's too much. I feel like there's too much at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't like the idea of it for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's just too super powerful.
Yeah,
it's not even that. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like it just feels.
It would be strange.
I don't know. I don't know how it feels. I don't like it though. I don't like it.
Mm-mm.
All right. So, the only person who's not affected by the coronavirus, that's Tom Cruise, because he's still shooting Top Gun, or not shooting Mission Impossible 7. So
where are they shooting?
I think it's fucking Italy, dude.
No.
Yeah.
They're in Italy and still in production.
Yeah, dude.
That seems really irresponsible.
I need to look
by
it
whatever
up.
production company.
I'm not 100% sure where they're shooting, but it's somewhere overseas.
Honestly, shooting anywhere right now seems really irresponsible.
Yeah, but that fucking stunt though, that he's gonna make out of that movie. He's literally outrunning a virus, dude. So like, it's gonna be sick.
Is that what the movie's about?
No, I'm just making it up because I have no. I have no.
All right. I fell for that one.
Yeah, Haley Steinfeld is in it too. You know who she is?
Is that related to
She is
Seinfeld?
Nope, she is Steinfeld, not Seinfeld.
Yeah, but it's close.
It's Seinfeld, by the way.
I know. It's close. So
Steinfeld is the girl from Bumblebee. She's also the girl from Pitch
I never saw
Perfect.
Bumblebee.
It's actually really good.
I heard it was. Yeah, I heard it's much more enjoyable than most of the Transformers movies.
Yes, probably.
Maybe is it better than the first one?
I like the first one.
I do too. I like the first Transformers. Is fun.
There's something
It's
about
hell.
it. It's very needle droppy, and this one's even way more needle droppy. It's like the whole movie's like a montage kind of, but it's really good though. It's really good. It's also 80s, so I just had a special place for it in my heart. Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on. We could talk for days about everything.
There's so many different little news stories.
It's a lot. It's just a lot's happening. But let's just go into the main topic.
Let's go.
Let's
is
do it.
Corona time. I think it's time to pop these off.
Corona time.
You know what? Honestly, I was thinking about too.
Yeah.
This makes me think about is
What?
the Incredible Hulk, the 2008 classic.
When Stanley
gets the poisoning. When it's the gamma poisoning that dropped in the bottle.
Yeah, man, the Hulk did kill Stanley. Damn.
I mean, at least he's not around. I mean, at least we didn't lose him to the COVID.
That would have been awful.
And he's old. He was definitely been in the.
He would have had a hard time. Yeah,
risk
unfortunate.
So what are we doing, Coronacast?
Well,
what are we doing?
Since we are in quarantine, as you can tell, we are basically going to talk about, since we tend to talk about movies a lot, let's talk about Contagion, the movie that came out a few years ago, versus Outbreak that came out even longer ago. Yeah. They seem like, if you go on Netflix, and maybe this might date a little bit.
Contagion's being pretty heavily advertised, or Outbreak's like,
it's
shown up on my.
It's number 7 in the world right now. It's like maintained number 7. Like there's number 1, 2, and 3 have come and changing around, but number 7 has been Outbreak every week.
We should.
Did you drink already?
Yeah, I did. Listen. It's beer.
It's hot in here too.
It's hot. And honestly, I'm just kind of ready to get this corona infection over with. Like, let's just down the hatch. Let's go and get the corona so that I don't have to worry about getting it anymore.
Yes.
How you liking it?
I mean, I drank, there's only 2 of these because I drank to the 4 the other day.
Ooh, yeah. For lunch. Yeah, it was good. That was a good day. I remember that.
I had to make sure the quality test. I didn't want to make give us
gamma poisoning.
Only the best at podcasting for one.
This feels like so small in my hand, like giant ass hands.
He just has giant hands.
I do.
Yeah, it's true. So
I had never seen Outbreak, and I had seen Contagion,
and I had never seen Contagion.
Right,
and I'd seen Outbreak.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I remember when I was working at the theater back in like 2012, 13 area, maybe 11. I remember going to the theater and cleaning up everyone's mess, of course, during when Contagion came out. And I remember seeing the very last scene of the movie because I had to wait for the credits to roll before I start cleaning. Yeah. And I was like, man, this is kind of interesting. But for some reason, I was like, I don't ever want to watch this because I've seen Outbreak. Yeah. In my head was like the superior version. I hadn't seen this one. And I still haven't seen Outbreak in a long time.
But after watching Contagion, what do you feel? How do you feel?
I feel like they're very different, and they're very different types of movies.
They come from very different times in cinema.
Yeah, exactly.
They're both kind of a product of their time.
I think for entertainment level, like something I would want to watch just for like entertainment value would be Outbreak. But I think I hear that. But I think because it has like that classical Hollywood kind of feel to it. When it came out in the 90s, Dustin Hoffman, Kevin
like
Spacey,
96, 97, one of those days.
I think it's Diane Lane is in it. Is that right? Diane Lane?
His wife?
Man of Steel's mom? Diane Lane?
I don't know. You talking about Dustin Hoffman's wife?
Is that who it is? I don't know. I can't. It's been so long since I've seen it. I really don't know.
It's his wife that ends up they're like getting a divorce, and then they end up not getting a divorce.
Of course. You got to have some type of...
Well, that's Rene Rousseau.
Oh, Rene Rousseau. I think. Let's look here.
Yeah, that's Rene Rousseau.
Kevin
Spacey, Donald Sutherland, Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, and we got Morgan Freeman as well.
Dempsey was in it. I don't remember him.
I don't either. Basically, they're kind of the same movie on like on a larger plot level. There's a virus that breaks out. And there is you have to figure out where it originated from. People dying. And your loved ones going away, and then figuring out how to come back together. I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't seen Outbreak in a long time. It feels like Contagion is more of and both of them are ensemble pieces.
Yeah.
But Contagion felt more like what is maybe the government, or maybe it's more the ground floor. Maybe
it's more about they kind of have lots of people in different parts of the but it's more of like
very much more government.
Oh,
action film.
I mean, in the end, Outbreak has a clear antagonist who's not the virus, right? Donald Sutherland.
Oh,
the whole like, and I would say like that's maybe the part that I didn't like as much about the movie. Like it felt just kind of like okay, like twisting his mustache, but like the whole idea that they knew about this virus like 40 years ago or 30 years ago during Vietnam, but they killed that village and then they were saving it as like a biological super weapon, and they had an anti-serum but didn't share it because they wanted it as a super weapon, and he wasn't talking with the president. And he was still trying to burn the town in California, and that whole part of it just kind of felt too far-fetched at that point to me, because I feel like it was a very grounded movie, and then they were like, we're just gonna burn, like blow up 25,000 Americans, and it's like that I just can't see that happening.
Now that you said it to me, I honestly forgot the plot of this movie. But now you said it to me, I'm like, oh, yes, that is way more interesting to me for me on an entertainment level, because when I was watching Contagion, I thought, man, by the end of the movie, I thought, also your movie just finished exporting. Fun fact for you podcast super oneers out there.
Making movies.
We have movies exporting in the foreground, actually. Yeah.
No, that wouldn't be foreground.
It's our foreground. It's the foreground of the movie.
No, it's behind the movie. That's not the foreground. The foreground's the front part of the spacing in the frame, right?
Exactly. It's the screen's foreground. It's in front of the foreground.
What is?
Or your movie exporting.
No, it's behind it. It's behind the view of the camera. It's not even in the view.
But
foreground is still considering something that's in the view.
But from their perspective, it's in front of the foreground.
No, and from their perspective, it's behind them.
But they're in front of the camera.
They are the camera.
Exactly.
So it's behind them.
Or in front of them.
Guys, Corona has taken a serious toll on us all. This conversation being the prime example.
Anyway, I remember thinking in Contagion, I was like, I mean, there's a lot of back and forth today between us. Little stupid conversations.
I know. I like it, though.
I do, too. It's fun.
It feels a little spicy.
So I remember thinking in Contagion, I was like, oh, okay, after they got the virus or the antidote or the vaccine or whatever, I was like, it feels very anticlimactic now, because there was no, there was a ticking clock at large, like people are dying, and there was like saying away for people, but there was no actual ticking clock.
There wasn't a fine, and that was something that like felt, I just didn't love it about Outbreak personally, and this is probably just my gripe with the style of movie making of the 90s, but the fact that they finally find what really the most of the movie was about, was finding the host animal, finding the monkey.
Yes.
And then the final conflict is like a general about to shoot them out of the sky because they found the host. That just feels like too
how did
twisty mustachy. It's like just
how did he know he had to, right? How did Donald Sutherland die? Did they kill him?
He doesn't die.
So
he gets arrested at the end.
Was it a cool, like, did they say cool arrest
Morgan
him?
Freeman has kind of a nice little like
fuck you kind of
I'm
thing?
relieving you of duty, General. Blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, and then there's this like colonel that like Donald Sutherland's been like being like super like arrogant towards, and he's like, no one can arrest me. No one can arrest me. And he starts walking out, and that colonel walks up. And this is another thing. The colonel like pulls out his gun and like holds it up like at his face. And I'm like, you had to do that to show that you were arrested. And Donald Sutherland like stops and he's like, I bet you're really enjoying this, Colonel.
I don't
know.
It's funny because, like you said, Cuba Gooding Jr. earlier.
Yeah, he's a really good part of the movie. I really enjoyed him.
You said him, and I just rewatched A Few Good Men the other day. I'm on this Aaron Sorkin kick.
Yeah,
and
he's in that too.
And I was like,
he had a great early career.
Oh yeah,
Cuba was
boat trip. It's amazing.
You know what movie? One of my favorite movies of his. It's with Beyonce. It's about this like church choir. Like he like, God damn it, what was it called? It was this amazing movie about him like. Basically, he's this rich guy in New York that's like basically scamming people out of money. He runs to this little hometown where his like mom or aunt just died, and then he ends up like inheriting the role of the choir teacher.
I'm not sure I know this
and has to like assemble this ragtag band of like really funny people into a church choir and go to a competition. And Beyonce's in it. And Beyonce's like this waitress that he has a love
maybe I have
situation with.
Actually.
I can't remember what it's called, but it was a really fun movie. Beyonce like sings
I like Cuba.
She sings like some really sexy song in the club.
the only kind that I expect from her.
Yeah, it was real. Like it was like peak Destiny's Child Beyonce, I think, or maybe right after Destiny's Child. I can't remember.
But no, I anyway. When you tell me there, it felt like that was like 95 was Outbreak. I think A Few Good Men was like earlier 90s, like 90,
was it?
91, 92, 93.
It was later in the 90s, but maybe you're right.
And I'm pretty sure, and like it feels like that is kind of like A Few Good Men a little bit. Like there's this, military official. And even, it's very classical. Anyway, it just kind of reminded me of that. Go check out A Few Good Men if you haven't done it, because you will not be upset about that
92 is
decision.
A Few Good Men.
There you go, 3 years earlier. Contagion, though.
Yeah.
It was, it was just, even the color palette and the way it's, it's very modern.
Cool, very it's high contrast. It just looked.
Yeah, it's very, bleak and like concrete-y and very urban. And which is Outbreak is kind of like you got a little bit more rural, like in a small town kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
like
what's funny is it all conveniently takes place in California, which is just like one of those things funny. You're like seeing like, of course it does, because it's the cheapest place to fly a giant 747 in the sky, of course, in California.
Yeah, of course. There's some good performances. It was cool from I'm talking about Contagion. Kate Winslet was in it, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't know she was in this, or I forgot she was.
Really big cast,
but she's gone the first 20 minutes. I'm like, wow, and then you have Gwyneth Paltrow, Jude Law's in it. He has a really interesting role. And then you have, honestly, there's a lot of parallels to what happens in Contagion that's happening on our own real world.
And I think that's more the point of the movie, right?
It feels like someone watched Outbreak and said, hey,
what if it was more realistic? And we kind of were less with the government, more with the common folk.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is another, I'm glad they at least took like that different of an angle on it. But yeah, I have to imagine, again, it's been probably 7-8 years since I've seen Contagion. Yeah. So I'm assuming that the details are a bit fuzzy for me, but I remember watching it feeling like this feels like what we're seeing could realistically occur in real life.
It felt like you can have your own opinion on it, but the virus in Contagion seems way more deadly than what we have in coronavirus. And it felt like,
I'm sure it is.
But even then it felt like
you're still seeing some things in the movie that are reminiscent of real life kind of thing?
Honestly, I kind of felt like it, honestly, it was not as, I feel like there was what would really happen is much, much worse in real life.
Like based on the disease they're showing in it or
something? Just based on everything, because both movies have a 2-hour runtime. So it means you have to have a resolution. And typically in a movie like this, they're going to, maybe not.
Compress time.
They're going to compress time, and they're also going to be like, hey, here's the vaccine. And people are going to pretty much end up where they started on some level. It felt like, I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's a hard subject matter to really get the full gist of it all. And I feel like it's only the tip of the iceberg for something that what we would actually face, but it's the closest thing we probably have on a visual representation. Yeah. So, again, they're both very entertaining to watch. Yeah. And if you're definitely feeling post-apocalyptic,
there's some catharsis there.
It's a little bit, yeah. It might scare some people. But.
And I thought what might be fun, and we can do this now or in a minute, but sure. We should each try to give like at least 1 or 2 lessons for our audience.
Here's number
from
one.
Watching those,
number one.
What lessons should we take from Contagion going into our own post-apocalypse?
Don't fucking.
We're back. I don't know what happened.
I'm doing this because there were subtitles for half a second. No, there wasn't.
It wasn't long. It was probably a loss of 5 seconds.
We lost audio for like 5 seconds.
Going back, the boyfriend keeps coming to the house.
Do we need to snap into it?
Sure.
Are we going to keep this?
Probably.
All right, we're back. So now we
sorry for that audio difficulty.
Sure, yeah. So anyway, I felt like his daughter's going out there wanting to do snow angels in the ground.
Yeah, they just want to be kids.
They want to be kids.
Which that part definitely feels
sexual fiends.
Yeah, of course, all kids are.
Yep.
But that part definitely feels like realistic. Feels like now. Yeah, people wanting to get out. Fighting against that urge just to
we're only just started, so it's kind of like give it honestly. And granted, again, we're dating the podcast, but give it another month or two.
To be honest, this very episode
could be the last one.
Be like imagine in 50 years, the survivors of the post-apocalypse are combing over the wreckage of Little Rock looking for supplies and looking for food, anything they can get, while dodging the zombies and the mutated animals. And they're looking in this area and they pull it out. Was that a refrigerator? No. It's a computer. What's on that computer? Oh my God. Like almost 30 episodes of one of the greatest podcasts that were ever not discovered. You know what I mean? We could end up being like, our faces could end up being like the flag on some sort of post-apocalyptic faction of bikers.
God,
You know what I mean?
I would love that.
You know what I mean? Just do that.
Do you remember the movie? I think it was Rain of Fire. Remember Rain of Fire?
Oh, I loved Rain of Fire.
There's a
I
moment
loved
where
that
they're
movie a lot.
acting out Star Wars. You remember that?
No.
Yeah, it's like there's.
Is it like when they're waiting on the dragons to come or something?
I can't remember, but they're like teaching their kids Star Wars and they're like acting it out.
I kind of remember that.
Yeah, so something that's always stuck in my head. So there's gonna be people teach like acting out our podcast to their kids. About 50 years from now.
It's gonna be like the only physical like proof that anything actually existed.
Pretty much.
Before coronavirus is gonna be maybe even this episode.
Not final thoughts, but kind of final thoughts.
Finally, thoughts.
Contagion versus Outbreak. You like Contagion better.
I
expected that.
I mean, honestly,
They're different.
I don't know if I say I like it better. It's just a different movie.
Yeah.
And it just kind of depends on what mood I'm in. Am I wanting just more of that kind of get lost in a fun movie with good acting? I mean, I feel like Outbreak is more of a movie that
It's a blockbuster.
you come away from it feeling like the good guys won, and yeah, it's just a blockbuster. It's kind of your typical, fun, action-packed, emotion-packed blockbuster. And I think they did a good job, like with Dustin Hoffman and his estranged wife, and that kind of little thread that makes you feel like something really did change after the virus, or after the outbreak. But if you're wanting a movie to like actually maybe kind of prepare you for what might occur, Outbreak might be a better option.
I mean,
as far as
Contagion.
Contagion. As far as if you wanted to take notes as far as what to do if bad shit continues to get shittier. Contagion is the go-to like survival guide movie.
I feel like I have to drink the rest of my Corona before we end the podcast.
You probably. I mean, I'm surprised you're even having an issue with
I know. I know.
Come on, it's.
Well, I was like up here. I looked over you. You were down here.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean,
I was like, Jesus.
Beer is water to me. Honestly, most of the time. It's like what, 8 ounces?
It's not
7
water
ounces.
It's not water to
7 ounces. Oh yeah, I can. Especially beer like this.
You like Corona?
Oh yeah, I like really. I have not found a lot of beers I don't like. Like some IPAs are a little too hoppy for me. Ales. I tried an ale in England a long time ago, and they gave it to me lukewarm. I tried to be one of those cool guys that goes up to this small pub and I'm like, "Give me your best ale." What the fuck I'm talking about? I'm like,
that sounds stupid.
I'm like 18, and I think I'm 9. No, I'm 18. I'm 18 or 19, and the legal drinking age in Europe is 18. So I'm like living my best life as a 19-year-old that can order drinks in bars.
Sure.
And they just set down this giant glob, and it's the most lukewarm, bitter thing I've ever tasted. Yeah, that was my ale story.
It sounds awful.
It wasn't good. I don't think I finished. I was like, I'm gonna finish this, and then I think I just left it on like a random table in their bar. I just left it.
Well,
like, no one will know
that's
that.
okay.
I was
They'll never. They don't know. One cool thing. I just looked at who Wolfgang Peterson, what he directed. He directed Enemy Mine. Don't know that movie. In the Line of Fire with
the same director's Outbreak.
Yeah, and he directed Air Force One, The Perfect Storm, and Poseidon. But
all very similar movies in style.
In the Line of Fire, though, in Air Force One.
Yeah.
Have you seen In the Line of Fire?
I've seen In the Line of Fire. Yeah.
Really? With Clint Eastwood?
Yeah. A long time ago.
Fuck yeah. That's a good movie.
It is a good movie. Yeah.
Wow. The movie we both liked, it's old.
There's plenty of those. Come on.
I know.
We play it up for you. This is all for you.
It's
the
not.
stage show.
He's a psychopath.
True. But at the same time, this is all for you.
That's true. It is all for you. So, Daniel, speaking of all for you, how can they write into us and tell us where they like Contagion, Outbreak better, and also how they are doing in the quarantine?
Well, yeah, survivors of the post-apocalypse can write into bit.ly/2for1mail. There you can tell us how you're braving the storms of being inside all the time. And tell us if I would love to hear if there's any other movies that we're not, because I mean, Contagion and Outbreak are like the go-to.
Right.
Are there any other movies? I would love to hear if you guys know of any other movies that deal with a similar situation that we could, garner some knowledge from.
We may have to do like Mad Max Fury Road or something pretty soon.
That's true. We could delve. We could start delving into proper post-apocalypse.
What happens after the coronavirus movies?
Exactly. No, we could do Mad Max. What's some other good post-apocalyptic movies?
The Road Warrior.
I don't know
That's another Mad Max movie.
There's The Road.
The Road.
Or is that? I think that's what it's called with The guy that was Aragorn, I'm blanking on his name. That's tragic. Anyway, yeah, write into us, bit.ly/241mail. Let us know if there's any other juicy bits of knowledge out there.
And for all your podcast needs, please go to podcast2for1.com. There you can find all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So be on the lookout for all of those. Have we posted
on TikTok yet?
Yeah, we haven't. So, but you can follow us though, because we do have an account.
If you're looking to just raise your follower, like how many people you follow number,
we're there,
we're
baby.
here for you.
And of course, if you want to consume the content in the best way possible, please go to our YouTube channel, and there you can watch and listen to the podcast.
What if we put only video on there? And we said, yeah, you can watch it, but you got to sync it up with your podcast service.
That way you
play at the same time.
You get a view and a listen at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
genius.
That
honestly.
is genius. What the fuck are
There's
we doing?
actually something there about
We're
that.
forcing people to give us a listen number and a watch
There's
number.
a moment, though, in the podcast you could do a thing where you have to sync up your other thing. That way it's like a blackout 5 minutes. You get like special secret stuff if you do the podcast.
That's actually kind of smart. And
there's a
way to
there.
monetize that.
There's something there. I don't know what it is. Anyway, Daniel, it was fun talking Corona time with you. Contagion versus Outbreak. Maybe
I hope we're here next week to.
I hope we are.
Revisit.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Subjects.
I have no idea. So anyway, my name is Donovan Thompson,
and I am Daniel Wingfield,
and we have spoken.